What's up, YouTube?
Yo,
Coming out at you, you two favorite frogs and Oliver Renica. Surprise! Who was surprised? We wanted to come on this very late release episode of Cousins by Chance, DMs by Choice, and talk about how Kiana was created and how we went about the entire process, some funny moments all throughout, some peeks behind the curtain as we went through and made her and played him and played her, and all those awesome things. So Jesse has some talking points for us to get to, and we'll just kind of talk about Kiana.
Yeah, absolutely. Kiana, wow. It's been a beautiful ride for sure. You said that you had the original texts, right?
I want to find them. Okay.
As you're scrolling, I'll go ahead and speak into this. When we first started this campaign, obviously we wanted to co-DM, and the whole, obstacle obviously is how are we going to one DM and then play. So we had a few ideas, and I forget what the other ones really were, but the one that we kind of stuck really tight to is like we'll just play like two characters and hiding into one. We thought about playing the same character, but then like that might be a little bit difficult with my play style versus Joe's play style. I do remember that before everyone had picked which country they were from, because we had requested our players to say, hey, we need someone from Varanth, we need someone from Abyssalia, we need someone from Imperia, and so on and so forth. Before everyone had picked where their character was from, originally Kiana, or maybe not Kiana's name at that time, our character was going to be two kobolds in a like clerical robe or trench coat, which is a very common D&D character. Like, oh, we're actually three kobolds in a trench coat, but we were going to be disguised as a dragonborn, because a tall kobold is essentially a dragonborn. So that was the original idea. Kind of bounced back and forth with that, and I do remember we were thinking it was between kobolds and grungs, and I think it was something along the lines where we were both like, it's whatever you feel, if you want this, we'll go with this. And I think we flipped a coin, if I'm not mistaken.
I found it.
You did?
We did flip a coin to decide gender, yes.
Decide gender, that's what it was.
So Jesse and I already ran a server together. At the time, it was called the Roll for Joe community server, because I used to have a D&D account on TikTok, and then now it's private. It's a whole other thing. And I had I used to have a few followers, I don't know. But I had a server, and Jesse helped me run it, and it was literally just like we took turns DMing, and so he would DM 1 month, I would DM the next, and we would do one shot every month for a bunch of strangers. And we were in the middle of talking about that, and so Jesse and I are talking about teaching, and then this is October of 2023, like right near Halloween time. And we're talking about how me and Josie and Jesse were the only people that responded to the poll for that month's one shot in our server. And on October 25th, 2023 at 7:35 a.m., I remember that by the time Jesse actually answered me again at 9 a.m., I was in class, and I remember this because I was in an English class, and I had to step out because I was so excited about this idea. He said, crazy idea, and I said, what's up? And then at 9 a.m., you said, what if we ran a campaign where both of us were the GM and we alternated sessions? I answer in 3 minutes because I've stepped out of my college. I went, you must understand, I was sitting there, and I walked out of my college class. And I said, we could share a character that I play when you DM and vice versa. I love that idea. Obviously, our PC would probably be a DM PC, there to make helpful suggestions, fun to roleplay with, We would want it to be a really weak, lame character so that we're doing zero heavy lifting in combat and maybe takes like the hide action for most of combat. Sounds like what I do with Kiana during combat, but not what Jesse does.
Well, you killed the werebeasts in the very first battle. You were playing Kiana.
I did not. I didn't touch nothing.
You guided Bolt, one of the were.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I think that was because I was tired.
Yeah, it was towards the end. You were like, all right, I'm done.
This taking too long. Yeah. And then I think she was like, oh my god, that's horrible. I can't believe I had to do that after. And then Jesse said, or we could make it interesting. Either make a character that we agree on, and then we play them as if they have multiple personality disorder, and we play 2 different subclasses of the same class. Or we can make a weird homebrew where we have a PC that can change genders, but they can't control it. And you said Kobold, and I said Changeling can do the same. And I said, I like multiple personality disorder, so we could be different classes. I don't mind playing a male character, so I wouldn't worry about the gender thing if you wouldn't mind, if you would rather not play a girl. He said, I don't care either way.
Yeah.
Jesse, not sexist, confirmed. So then, I explain what, like, DMPCing is, like, where you step forward and take control of the whole narrative and everybody's mad at you. So we were talking about this idea of, like, a gender-fluid person with multiple personalities. And we are the same we're more of a Lorik in that case. Like, we are just changing back and forth. And then Jesse said, I would be down to meet sometime and hash out details if you want to be serious about this. I said yes. And I said, I think we should try to do a 1 to 20, but I understand if you think that's too long. And Jesse said, I would love to do a 1 to 20. It would be easier for us to do 2 separate sheets. So, you
were the one that initiated the 1 to 20?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then I talk about, I want a very political vibe, serious vibe to the whole thing.
Yep.
And then Jesse suggested, let's keep as many details hidden from each other as possible, which we almost immediately abandoned because it's just impossible to plan that long form without each other knowing everything. But I will say we've been recently, I think Jesse and I, as we've gotten closer to level 10, have gotten tired of knowing exactly what's going to happen in a session, so we do try to keep, like, little things secret from each other. Like, if we're going to meet a fun NPC, or if we're going to do a puzzle, like, I don't know the answer to the puzzle that Jesse's going to do. Or, you know, when Lorik died, I didn't know how it was going to happen. So Jesse told me part of it because he needed help with part of it, with, like, figuring out the timing of something. But as much of it that could have been kept secret as possible was, so that hopefully I could be caught off guard and actually be in the moment. And I think, like, when I do a rumor session, like, I don't tell Jesse what the rumors are going to be, usually, ahead of time. I'm trying to look for the moment when we switch it to, it's not.
Right. It might have been a few days or a few weeks after.
It might have been. Because then we start talking about, you said 6 total players. You said you want it based on Avatar: The Last Airbender. And then, whoa. You typed out all of it. You typed out all of the countries. And at this point, it was like those same blurbs that are still in our Master Lore doc that are like, it's like a paragraph about each of the 4 nations. So then, I was the one who suggested kobolds in a trench coat. I cannot believe that. I thought that was a you thing. I said, I think our joint player should be 2 kobolds in a fantasy trench coat, and we just switch which one is the head whenever you or I are playing. The girl can be named Leica, and the boy can be named Hugh, and our joint last name is Man. Leica, Hugh, Man.
Which I think we completely abandoned, and we're hauled now.
Yeah, completely lost that.
But we're still liking Hugh, but just not Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a Hugh hold.
Like a Hugh hold. But little peek behind the curtain, guys. Which I do think that I don't know why our last name would be different from Hold. Because I don't know why we would have a fake royal name and then like a real secret name.
Yeah.
I don't know why we would do that. I like the idea. I wish that was true, and I do think that when Abby made our name tags, they do say human and like a man. That might not be true though. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure they say Hold. Pretty sure. But
well, peek behind the curtain. Our name in our hearts is Leica Hugh Man. Haha. Do you get it? So it's actually a pun.
Yeah.
And then I say, but we don't tell anyone about this, and we wait until later in the campaign to reveal it. And Jesse sent me the 2 kobolds in a suit thing. Do you remember what, like, that trait or whatever afforded us?
The suit, specifically?
No, like, it's a homebrew thing, where if you're 2 kobolds in a suit, these are, like, things that you get. Or things that you get taken away.
Oh, it was like an extra reaction if you, or like extra attack of opportunity.
We get 2 reactions per turn, which we've never once used.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also, our
dexterity is trash.
Our dexterity is trash because we can't walk good.
Right.
Our charisma goes up by 1. I don't know why.
Be like a constant guidance kind of thing, like whispering to each other, like, "Hey,
right.
say this."
Our speed goes down. Our size goes up.
Yeah.
We have proficiency in deception and insight. Our maximum HP is decreased by 2 every time we level up. Because it's hard out here to be stacked on top of somebody.
Sure.
And we got to choose 2 of the following things. So we have 2 reactions. And we have built-in armor. So we have a higher AC.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we used that. And then Jesse said, instead of a trench coat, let's do monk robes or cleric robes. Because, trench coat didn't fit in our world.
Right.
So, Jesse, do you want to talk a little bit about like why we chose the class we chose and how we're built differently mechanically?
Yeah. So, at this time during all of this, the initial text message, I was still very fresh into D&D. Like, I know you said that we were kind of like helping out with that Roll for Joe server where, I DM'd one, you DM'd another, etc., whatever. I only had, if my memory serves correct, I've only DM'd one other time before. before any of this. So I was still very new. And at the time, which I would still say it's definitely one of my favorites still to this day, monks were my absolute favorite class. Still on my top 3 for sure. And Joe was always like, from start to finish, I want to be a cleric, because that's just kind of like Joe likes playing clerics. That's Joe's signature. I was going back and forth with like, I like the idea. I was more scared of the spell casting ability, because where I'm still so new, I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff. I want to punch, So the whole monk thing was appealing to me, but me personally, it was basically just me, like going back and forth with monk, cleric, and I finally just bit the bullet. I was like, okay, let's just make it easy, and do cleric, because I feel like the secret would come out a lot sooner if all of a sudden Kiana starts Fury of Blows, like.
And the next session to heal someone. Yeah.
Right. So it was definitely, but we did choose different subclasses.
Yes. So Jesse, or you're War Cleric, I think.
War Cleric, yeah.
And I'm Life. And that was like where I'm at in the text messages. We're still playing 2 kobolds named Leica and Hugh Man, who I remember our original storyline, and if you said this while I was searching for text messages, just stop me, but our original storyline was going to be that we were this princess of Varanth, of the War Nation, which no government had been made for Varanth yet, so it was whatever. But
Yeah.
we were going to be the princess of the War Nation. No, not the princess. We were going to be a royal advisor in the War Nation, and we were going to be the advisor to the chieftain, which in this case would be Lordo. And we were kobolds who, like, were racially oppressed in Varanth, and the chieftain and all of the war council were going to be made up of dragonborns, and so it was like big dragon, little dragon kind of oppression type deal. And we wanted to be on the war council, and so us pretending to be this advisor was us trying to exert any little power we could have over the decisions made in Varanth, even though we were being oppressed and couldn't be on the war council. And probably from there it was going to be like try to murder the chieftain and take his place. I don't know, whatever. But that was our
almost
idea.
like a Heidi Hopeful foreshadowing.
Almost a Heidi Hopeful foreshadowing if you think about it. Because, as you know, Heidi's not in love with Azai. She's just sleeping with him to get secrets about Varanth.
Absolutely,
yeah, and so then I remember we were going to have a big D&D Beyond thing where, like, all of our characters are in the same thing. So then everybody could see each other's character sheets. And we made a decoy Kiana.
Yeah.
And put a decoy Kiana sheet in there because at the time we thought he was going to be a monk and I was going to be a cleric, so we needed a fake joint sheet, and that was the whole thing. But then nobody joined. We didn't end up doing it on D&D Beyond. Most of us ended up doing it on paper.
I still use D&D Beyond because I'm lazy.
Doesn't say this is D&D Beyond, but and then we flipped a coin, and I sent Jesse a video, and we are a woman. Jesse sent us the name options. And the first name that Kiana was going to have was...
A story about the name. Continue.
Was Sati Dracos, short for Satikos Dracos, which translates to false dragon in Greek.
Yeah.
Did you have more you wanted to say?
No, that was essentially my story. Like, my favorite thing to do with names is to find out what the little quirk is, the little flaw or something about the character, and then Google Translate that phrase into like a Greek or some kind of like Latin or whatever, like some kind of different language, and then try and transform that into a different name. That's one of my favorite times, and I'm pretty sure Kiana is like... You have it pulled up? Don't tell me if you do.
I'm not.
I want to say it's something like hidden siblings or something in that nature.
Yeah, false secret sibling.
Secret sibling, yeah.
Let's look up the first time I texted you the word Kiana.
I'm not sure what language it came from. I cannot remember that part. It might have been Greek.
Pretty sure Hawaiian.
Hawaiian?
But let me...
That might make more sense.
Why does it not go as far back as I need it to? I looked up Kiana and it only goes back to May. Not enough. That's so strange. Why? Please.
So I can't do my phone because I have my phone set up to where it deletes text after like 30 days, so.
I know. I carry this burden. All of my friends are that. I never delete any text messages ever.
It does come in handy for situations like this, though. I will admit.
Exactly. Okay. I said, do you want to change our joint name since it means false dragon? Yeah. And I said, and you said, yeah. And I said, do Greek for falsely tall frog or secret sibling.
Falsely tall frog.
Jesse said Kiana, short for Kaikana, which is siblings in Hawaiian. Which is funny because I did not remember that it was short for a real word. Because I was looking up Kiana at some point with somebody, because somebody was like, oh, let me look up what Theo means, or what. I don't know if it was Abby, but somebody was like, let me look up what my character's name is. And I think I might have been Danica, because I think Maverick means laurels, like victory. And It was something like that, and they were just looking at what their character's name mean. And I looked mine up, and I remember being like, "Oh no, it's gonna say that it means fake or whatever." And
two frogs in trench coat. Like,
and it did not. It whatever it was. And I remember being like, But yeah, I guess Kiana is short for Kaikana.
Yeah, because I think I purposely, because Kiana could have been a similar name, but like I think I did something along the lines because like I know I'm not original in that idea of translation names and things like that. So I might have taken Kiana because what if someone did try to translate our name just out of curiosity, and oops, there's the secret. So I shortened it to a different arrangement.
And I chose Hold. That's a Scandinavian that means secret or hidden. So. And I said, awesome, Kiana Hold, played by Laika and Hugh Mann. Our characters are idiots. But yeah, and so that was kind of her creation, and we were going to be from Varanth, but then the reason why we changed is because Devin and Josie both wanted to be from Varanth, and we wanted 2-2-2.
Yeah.
And the order of like how we added players was, I think Josie and Devin were first. And then, I know Josie was first.
Yeah.
And then, Abby wasn't going to join at first, but I think it was then Danica, then Abby, or Abby then Danica, whatever.
Yep.
Devin was in there somewhere. And then, is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brooks was last, because I wanted another guy. This is true. Brooks, if you're watching this is true. I wanted another boy in the mix. And I was telling this to Abby, I said, oh, God, I don't know any guys that play D&D. And Jesse doesn't know anybody that plays D&D in real life. And Abby said, oh, I'm doing a writing center appointment with Brooks right now. I'll ask him. I know he plays D&D. And I said, okay. And then she said, he's in. And I said, oh, you went ahead and invited him. Okay, I thought you were just going to ask if he played D&D. So then Brooks was in.
Thank you.
I remember exactly where I was when I invited everybody too, and I'm harboring this frog secret the whole time. I was walking around the pond at our college with Abby, and I said, "You're way too busy to play a new D&D campaign, right?" And she said, "Oh my God, yeah, I'm about to kill myself. No, I literally can't." Right. This was her last semester in college, 2023. She said, "I literally can't even think about D&D," and I said, okay, then I have to tell you about this. So I told her this whole like spiel about the characters. And then a few days later, when I realized it's like November now, I was like, we're not going to start this until the new year. Yeah. I said, oh man, it kind of sucks. Like, you probably could do it if it was in January since you'll be graduated by then, but you already know the secret. And she said, I could pretend. So then Devin was in. And then I took Devin to a Halloween party. And in the car on the Halloween party, I said, just a question. Would you want to do this? And she said, yeah. And then I think I just texted Josie probably. Danica, I was in a college building. We had just left a Halloween event. And I said, you don't play D&D, do you? And she said, no, but I've always wanted to. And then we go from there. And everybody's locked in. But yeah, so Danica and Abby wanted to be from the Wisdom Nation. Josie had never played a strong character before, so she wanted to be from Varanth. Devin,
I think Devin was one of the last ones, and we're just like,
and it was the one that was, it was the option that was left. And but I also remember telling Brooks, hey, you have to be from the Water Nation. Can you do that? And him being like, okay. I think it's because we were thinking about like the pairs, and like Danica and Abby were best friends in real life.
Yeah.
I think it was just because Josie and Brooks, or Devin and Brooks had never met, and so we were like, if we're gonna get Devin into this new campaign, let's pair her with somebody she knows. So we put her with Josie, and then the two of us were with Brooks. Yeah, and so then Kiana was born, and I remember it was session 1 when we first, like, we were thinking about the mechanics of it. It's like, every time I'm playing Kiana, Laika is the head, and Hugh is walking underneath.
Yeah.
And we talked about all these mechanics about, like, can the other person cast spells? Can random things happen that, like, Hugh casts a spell while Laika's playing? And I think we ended up saying no, because we didn't want to be OP. and we used this necklace idea to disguise it. But like Jesse, talk about the mechanics of the necklace and the robe and how exactly that came forth due to necessity.
Absolutely. I think a lot of Kiana's formation was as we went along, because we're super excited over the idea, and it kind of stopped at that point. And then we played for a little bit, and as we were playing, certain situations came up, and whoever would be DMing that session was like, okay, well, we gotta make, and like we'd be texting each other while playing, like, we'll have to come back to this and make it make sense. One of the
When Lorik picked us up in session
I
one.
was gonna say the very first one, Lorik picking us up, he straight up Rafiki Simba'd us, and we're thinking like he would have to feel, Now, I think even before that, exiting the blowhole of the whale, little ladder came out, and Lorik insisted that Kiana goes first. So we're like, okay, why don't if he were to.
That Mulan screenshot where General Guy is holding Mulan by the shirt, and it's like if he would look down right now, the movie'd be over.
Right, for sure. So we're like, we have to think of something, because we don't, like, the last thing we wanted was, because we could have played it off and just had, whatever. But whenever we were going to reveal this, we didn't want people to be like, hey, well, what about that one time, and all that kind of stuff. So we really thought about, I believe it was the necklace came first, because I don't believe the robes themselves are magical. I think it's mainly just the necklace that's an illusion necklace with an oversized robe. Because beforehand, you had the oversized robe, but even with a robe, you put it on 2 grungs, it's gonna be bulky. Like, you might see Hugh's elbow sticking out of where the hip should be, stuff like that. It's gonna look weird. So we decided to make this necklace an illusionary, like, magical item that makes them look normal. But
I think we said the necklace makes it look real, the robes make it feel real, and so the robes are magical to where they just stay straight. Like,
right. Okay, I gotcha. Excuse me. And let's see. And we kind of just used the necklace also as a cop-out to, like, talk to each other. Because we're like, well, shoot, there's going to be times where, like Laika does something that Hugh disagrees with, or vice versa. And we wanted to kind of roleplay a scene. So Kiana would go and pray to her god, and she would communicate to her god via her necklace, which would also imply that, hey, this necklace means something to her. She's never without it. The first time she was without it was in the Battle of the Enchanted Forest, where it came off, and for a split second, Lorik saw two grungs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the story of the necklace. I think there wasn't any other, like, oops, like, we better fix this, like, mechanical wise.
I think everything's pretty much solved by necklace.
Right. Originally, grungs are supposed to, technically by a book, they're supposed to submerge themselves into water for 2 hours per 24-hour period, or take exhaustion. We started doing that. Yeah, we started to do that with the barrel, but then as the story went on and years passed, we're like, we're not going to keep track with this. Like, it's too much work. It's like spell components, too much work.
I have one funny thing, and then that leads me into the next thing. The funny thing is, the first time that Abby was doing art for us, and she knows the secret, we talked about, like, the sort of dimensions of it, and Jesse said, I was like, if we do this art, and then years later when it's revealed, they're gonna go back and go, how did 2 grungs fit in this art? And Jesse said, we just need to have Abby sketch it out so that my comically large frog eyeballs are Kiana's boobs.
Yep.
And do it like that. And Abby was like, I absolutely refuse to do that. Do you know that the eyeballs would be in the completely wrong spot? And I said, whatever. And so
Yeah,
that was my funny thing. But
that's so funny.
we, God, what were we talking about directly before that?
The necklace and the mechanics of it, and the reason why we created it and whatnot.
I'm trying to think. I feel like Kiana really became a valuable player. Maybe for me, I'm going to speak for me. When I actually felt connected to Laika for the first time was during the forest fire. When I was mad at you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I won't speak for you, but I feel like before that, it was always just like, oh man, it's my turn to be the frog.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit here and wait until they need help, and then just kind of gently push the group in the right direction. And you're just kind of like DM's aid and not really a character.
Right.
But I like that, obviously, we eventually let her do her thing. I started to feel connected to Laika then. And then through dreams and all this stuff, and then the hell split and all these different things, I felt more Laika than I ever had by the time we got through hell and were separated. And I know that Jesse didn't get the same opportunity to do that because Hugh was the one that went away.
Yeah.
And so even though we got these vignettes with him, we got these cutaways, and he got to film a independent session with him that Brooks DM'd, I feel like that session was probably where you actually got a chance to be Hugh.
Absolutely. And that's probably where I felt, that connection as, hey, that's my character. I care about this boy. That's my baby.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool feeling because, just you said it perfectly. Like, oh, my turn to play frog. My turn to raise my voice to a higher pitch and pretend to be woman. Lorik. But yeah, like that one shot really, like, man, I love Hugh and I love his story, and I'm so excited to continue his story. Canonically, I would say that's Laika.
That's certainly Laika and Dancing with the Stars,
For sure.
With Andy Richter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I have Hymns of the Holler decorations up. How embarrassing.
Hey.
Oh my god.
That's
That's so embarrassing. What is that?
It's the storybook that Maggie made for Pappy.
Oh, I didn't know you received it. Oh, that's so sweet. Hymns of the Holler, shout out. Hope that's out by now. It might still not be.
May not be, but you'll know what this is later on if you.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was a beautiful side effect that I didn't know was going to happen, because the thought of Laika and Hugh being revealed was so many eons away that Kiana was pretty. I think Laika has always felt more real to me than Kiana did, obviously. And I feel like both of us, Jesse and Joe, had this thing of like, Kiana is a demure, proper, innocent princess who really loves and is anxiously attached to her best friend Lorik, and really wants to make Daddy proud, and really wants to see the world. And that was like our box that we operated in. Right. And I think that's also the box that Hugh and Laika operated in until we started disagreeing. So like we had this idea of, okay, if we're going to leave Abyssinia, we have to, be on lock. We got to know who we're playing. Right. But even like day one in the Sorcerer's Sunrise Bistro, Laika was like, what are you doing? You're being... I don't even remember what you did. I think it's because you were like stealing the biscuits at the table or something.
Yeah.
It was because you wanted to go on the envoy.
Yeah.
You said, yeah, I'd go. And I went, hey, we can't go on an envoy. We could barely keep it together for a funeral. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The demure, courtship, all that that was very Laika. The I want to see the world, that was very Hugh. Yeah.
I was happy to go back to Abyssinia. Yeah. And this shows again when, like, I don't know what Hugh's reaction is going to be to Lorik dying, but like, obviously Laika had a very different connection to Lorik than you did. But like, Laika the first thing she cries is, I should have never left home. Lorik and I should have just stayed at Abysalia. And maybe we wouldn't have been such good friends, and maybe we wouldn't have fallen in love if we hadn't gone on the envoy, but he wouldn't be dead, you know? And so there's no adventure wanderlust in Laika at all. Even throughout this whole envoy, she's been like, oh, Lorik loves it here. So, you know, and Lorik loves it here, and for until very recently, I care what Daddy thinks about. But then as soon as the forest happened, and he tells, you know, no, stop helping people come home. Like, I don't care what Daddy thinks anymore. So there's partially like this fighting Daddy, like he wants me to come home, so I'm not going to. There's partially this Lorik loves it out here, and he loves exploring and being out here, and I don't want to leave him. And there's also a back burner, some country loyalty of like, I do want to find out what's going on with Tandem Arcanum, and I do want to, especially now, like, now that I've met his ghost, I want to aid him going back to rest and being avenged, although who knows what that means now. But, and also, I have some nationalistic tie to Abysalia, where, like, my dad sucks as a king, and so if I'm going to be a queen one day, because Hugh's kind of MIA, I do want to be one that people like. And leaving an Imperial envoy because you missed your bed isn't really a good reason.
Right. There are two other talking points that I would like to discuss. Is one,
and I have a question about you.
Yeah, go for it.
Before you get to, just because if you have yours written down, I don't want to forget mine. But what do you like? I just said Laika's opinion on the envoy, basically, and why she's in the campaign and why she's here. Yeah. What is Hugh at? Because he didn't mind leaving, and when I sent a letter saying, and don't come back, and you had just fought with Dad and everything, you're kind of okay with that. Like, you don't mind not rejoining the envoy. So, like, what has Hugh's journey been throughout, from the moment of joining envoy, like, yay, excited to go see the world? Like, what happened for him from there?
At first, it was just like wanting to please Daddy. He's been wanting to please Ceramit his whole life, and we'll come to find out that maybe that's impossible for Hugh. And I think it was just that kind of the evolution of that mindset throughout this whole time, because it was, and this kind of brings to the point of one of the points that I want to talk about was, I don't know if you viewers noticed, but whenever I played Kiana, I never used healing spells. Whenever Joe played Kiana, she only had healing, no damage spells, only healing or a support. And Hugh started off trying to save face, trying to go along with, all this is, he almost saw himself as a Lorik 2.0. Like, I'm also protecting my sister. And along for the ride, but once he got just a little taste of like adventure, seeing the outside borders of Abysalia, having to walk on, walk and not feel sand or water, but cobblestone, like it sparked something within him, and he realized that he is so tired of hiding. He's been hiding his whole life, and trying to wrestle with that while also still being forced to hide. There was a lot of mixed emotions with this envoy. He kind of kept them at an arm's distance. He didn't get too close to them. I think the only quote-unquote bonding time that we had was with Cyrus, whenever he asked to help him wield a warhammer.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to know how to fight. Hugh's, I don't want to give Hugh's ultimate long-term goals, because we'll come to that later, but like, they're so different from Laika's, and having to be coming in, and I don't want to say midlife crisis, but like essentially a midlife crisis of
Both of us had like a weird midlife crisis.
yeah, like I've been hiding my
Yours just
whole
made me
life. I've been forced to hide. I've come to realize this. This sucks. I don't want this. I don't want anyone to go through this, but I still have to do it.
yeah.
And then that brought Hugh to the second point that I wanted to bring up was I want to talk about the split, the hell split.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Out of game and in game. That was just like
Hard.
It was exhausting, and it was at a time of real necessity because your baby had just been born like a month prior.
Baby was born, and a personal family issue had just occurred where I physically could not participate in D&D, and I said, hey, I texted Joe, and I was like,
wasn't even what caused it immediately because baby was born. We had 2 one-shots, and I think we did Limbo right before baby.
I can't remember.
And then we finished Hell afterwards. I think that's true because during those one-shot times, I was planning everybody's things with them. And so, Jesse, what month was Theo born in?
March.
So, yeah. So, baby is born in March. We go to Limbo in Hell. And Jesse and I had already discussed whoever, or like, we had both intended on being there the whole time. And so the plan was, Jesse or I would DM like the in-between bits between the sessions. And if they wanted our help playing NPCs, we'd do that. But one of us would be playing Azai and the other one would be helping. And what ended up happening, baby, one-shots, planning all of Hell, and then we come back. Jesse's having family issues still, even though paternity leave is over.
Right.
And so he was supposed to DM. He did DM Lust. And then Danica had to take a break from the campaign. So Maverick remained in Lust for a little bit. So that's happening. Jesse's life is happening.
Yeah.
And upcoming for whatever the next one is. Gluttony, whatever and whatever.
Yeah, whatever the word. Yeah.
Gluttony, greed, and whatever the other, heresy. Brooks came back because I didn't know that Laura, Kiana, and Theo were all going to choose to leave in Limbo. So we have like rapid players going in and out, in and out, in and out. And Brooks comes back to DM. Danica can't come back to DM. So I'm DMing Gluttony. And then Megan DMs Greed. And we had already planned that Laika would get stuck in greed because 1, I think she is. I think she is greedy at that point in her life. And 2, because it was getting impossible. I knew that Jesse wouldn't be back for the rest of Hell because of what's going on with him. And so I could not play Azai and DM and play Laika and make it good. So I thought, Lorik's on the surface. Kiana's a frog. She's not going to survive in Hell. And greed is a good one for her to go. Yeah. You know, she loves material wealth. So then Laika goes, even though she was gone in Limbo and then came back in Lust, which obviously, if you haven't figured that out, that was Hugh couldn't choose. Mm-hmm. And Laika could. I don't remember what Laika's choice was, but Laika also had one, and she could choose between hers. I think it was, I don't know, similar to, but it was hers was pretty easy.
I want to say it was almost like a mechanical thing. Since Hugh was steering during the Limbo session, I think the choices were given to him. So whenever,
but I did get a choice because at the time we chose one for Laika and we chose one for Hugh, which you might not have known that because I did that. So
yeah,
Laika did get a choice and she made it, and she just made it and it moved on. I'll have to go back. I know it's in my notes somewhere of like what she had to pick and
right.
But then we move on, and Laika's like, "What do you mean I'm missing? I'm right here. Like, what are you guys talking about? I saw you 5 minutes ago."
What do you mean I'm half my size? Like,
that was the most gaslighting I've ever done in my life. To just be like, "What are you talking about? right now. What is the matter? Which is a great cover because, like, I don't know, maybe hell shrunk me, you know?
Yeah.
And then we go to Greed, and she leaves for real, and the Kraken zoinks you out and then zoinks me out.
Which the Kraken zoinking
Like
out.
it to spend time with Lorik.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was such an
Such a
insane and exhausting time. And then I had to I wasn't DMing, it was everybody else's turn to, like, when we all split up the layers, but I was DMing for, I don't know, 4 sessions or something.
right.
And I did all of the orchestrating to make sure that everybody was ready and whatever else. But then we finally got back to the surface, and Jesse and I had long, extensive conversations about what exactly a split would look like. And thankfully, we had just picked up an NPC that seemed like he was going to be sticking around.
Old Jimothy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact for the viewers: the whole intense meeting with the Kraken that Hugh had of this like reawakening of his faith. Originally, I was thinking like, because we had to find out a way for Hugh to not be stuck in limbo, but also like get out. And I was thinking, at first, I was thinking, what if some kind of like demon or devil within the hells offers Hugh a deal, and thus Hugh multi-classes into warlock. And I'm pretty sure that was going to be the plan for the longest time. And then maybe like a few days before session, I was like, actually, I'm gonna stick with cleric, and we're gonna have a reawakening of the faith. And I think that was a much better turn.
I think it's so much more powerful because I love twins in general in stories, especially when, for comedic effect, twins are often very samey. But for powerful effect is when they're kind of encouraged to be very samey, but are very opposite. And Leica and Hugh have this opposing force conflict where Leica has been trying to be a good cleric and has been trying to be very close to the Kraken. And I don't know, for some reason it's not working, and it's because her heart's not in it.
Yeah.
Hugh has had this insane struggle with faith and religion in the Kraken, and therefore has not been doing any of the ritual of religion. But when he finally has a conversation with the Kraken, it becomes clear that his heart is in it. His heart is in the Kraken and is in religion. And even though Leica was doing all of the stuff, her heart was not in it. And so we're exactly opposite. Hugh's heart is in it, but he's not doing the rituals, and I'm doing the rituals, but my heart's not in it. And so we have this beautiful thing where as you get closer to the Kraken and you guys figure it out and you decide to give it another go, Leica takes this personally and gets knocked down from favor.
Absolutely. And thus we have more story to tell with that, obviously. There's a lot of story to tell with the whole...
I'm not. Leica's gonna kill herself.
after the whole Lorik thing, yeah, Leica's gone.
Leica's out, dude. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hopefully not.
How does Hugh feel if he finds out that Lorik died? Well, I'm sure he will. Like, it can't be... It can't have evaded him. He was nearby when it happened.
Yeah.
Because he was the one that saved Bart. And then, I don't know if I don't think he was there when Lorik actually died, but he might have seen Wrathful Lorik.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll certainly hear about it soon.
Right.
I mean, big war general dies on the beach publicly, like, it's gonna get around.
For sure. And session 41's already out definitely at this point.
Definitely at this point, yeah.
The session started with Bart getting trapped in some kind of like net trap, and Hugh helping him out and disappearing, and they don't know where he's at. I haven't put too much thought of it, actually.
I asked Jesse what Hugh would think about Lorik and Leica being in love, but I think his answer was like, He'd be fine with it, I guess, but he'd have questions.
Yeah. It'd be more of the concerning of like, okay, how is a frog and a cow?
It's not gonna work.
How's that gonna work? I'm happy that you're happy, but how is this gonna work? Kind of mentality. But because Hugh kept them at such an arm's length, he would definitely. I feel like he would mourn for Leica.
I'm gonna throw up.
He would
Yeah.
obviously mourn for the times that he had with Lorik for sure, but I think he would feel more anguish for, man, I'm hurting, but what's my sister feeling right now?
Oh my god. Like, I feel like for you, Lorik passing away is like if like a coworker you've barely talked to randomly passed away. Like,
Right.
that's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how the family's doing. But then, like, I mean, in this case, it's very similar to like your brother-in-law passes away. Your brother-in-law that you've met twice passes away. It's like, God, I feel horrible for my sister. Like, yeah.
I mean, in every relationship with the Envoy has been like that. I mean, whenever Maverick pissed off Leica, and they had that conversation, Hugh did not fuck around. He was like, what did he say? 10 words. 10 words or less, 10 words. You are going to make this right.
I'll show you what Jesse did, because it was the best day of my life. I'll show you what Jesse did. He said, I did that. And Leica went, or not Leica, he went, of course you did. I don't know how I couldn't have seen it sooner. Of course you did. Did you feel big? Muscle man? Did you feel big and strong saying that about my people and my country? Huh? Because you don't know what it was like under those conditions. 10 words or less. Explain to me in 10 words or less how you're going to make this okay. And he went, by showing you. And Lorik went, right. By showing you that I can be a better man or whatever. And he got to there. And Lorik went, that's 10. And I remember that you said, Lorik, take him out. And I made Lorik roll to see if he understood that you meant remove him from the room and not kill him.
Yeah.
God, I wanted him to kill Maverick so bad! Do you remember the conversation we had right after Maverick betrayed us in session 3? 2, whatever?
I do not, no.
It was basically like, you can see, I'm DMing, you can see my face when it happens. Because Jesse had to learn how to have facial expressions on camera, because the first few times I edited TikToks, I was like, Jesse, you're going...
I'm very good at poker facing.
While we're showing you that your mother died, you're going... You have to do something different. But anyway, so Jesse's not doing anything. Danica says, I'm going to spread a rumor that blah, 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 whatever, about the frog. And you can see me go, like, give like a smirk to the camera, and I go... And I can't even do it. I'm sure it was much cooler than that. But I think I texted you and went like, oh, this is good. First rumor session, there's betrayal. Yes! We were so excited, but it didn't end up, nothing happened with it until like 25, so.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you reenacting that scene, it really is like, that was, Hugh was mad for Leica, but Hugh was mad for Hugh also, because the whole, you do not know what it's like to live in those conditions as I'm currently living in those conditions. Like, not referring to like, oh, you don't know what it's like to have to like kill babies, and like hear people hear, like, you don't know what it's like that I'm living in secrecy. Like, yeah.
Oh, God. That's just, And I feel like our sibling relationship has been something that we've prioritized since the beginning of, like, that came before individual character development even. I remember, like, trying to, like, throw a bone of, like, yeah, I like us as a person, and made her casually write poetry. And I was like, maybe that's something. I don't know.
Right.
And so, like, there's a few poems that they find in the very beginning in the Empyrean libraries that they're written by L.M., like a man.
Yeah.
And I realize now, maybe man is her pseudonym.
Yeah.
When she's writing books, and that can make sense. Like a man, you know, whatever. They find some poems written by Leica. And didn't never happened, like, never meant anything in the long run, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But even from the very beginning, Jesse and I were constantly communicating and going, yeah, Hugh's pissed right now. He's so, and it's just, again, this waxing and waning of, like, as Leica slipped a little bit and Hugh got to act more like Hugh, Leica gets more pissed and Hugh gets happier. And we just, like, because we want opposite things, we can't exist together, bro. So then the split happens. Hugh gets to go live his Tarzan dreams in Abyssinia, to be determined on how he integrates back into the campaign, TBD. But Leica's made it very clear what her dream life is. Especially after spending 4 months completely alone with Lorik and Heidi's house. It's like, now, I mean, if you asked Leica, like, unpause game right now and asked her, she'd kill herself. But, you know, ask her 4 hours ago, and it's, you know, Lorik, queendom, family.
Yeah.
And, you know, if queendom doesn't happen, that's okay. But I do think she knows her dad's corrupt. She would like to take over Abyssinia and do it better. The Grun colony and do it better. She would not admit it out loud until he was already gone, but she wants Lorik. And
you said
she's
Lorik
been saying from the beginning.
You said Lorik, queendom, and family priorities?
Yeah.
I think Hughes is kingdom, family, envoy.
Third one, you cut out.
Envoy.
And isn't it crazy that Envoy's not even on her top 3? Like, yeah.
Well, like, yeah, I mean,
So family for you, meaning like...
You.
Meaning like
Leica.
Me, or meaning like children?
Leica.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
I think...
To word it better, kingdom, Leica, envoy members.
Yeah.
Not the envoy itself, envoy members.
Oh, so you don't care about Tandem Arcanum. None of us care about Tandem Arcanum. But our friends. Yeah.
He doesn't know any of the Tandem stuff.
That's true. But he doesn't care about Tandem Arcanum either.
Right.
There is, I think if you extended it to my top 5, number 1 is Lorik. Number 2 is family. Number 3 is queendom. Number 4 is Hugh. Number 5 is the envoy. And I've been accused recently by Abby Nelson of Kiana or Leica being very individualistic and not caring much about the rest of the envoy members. Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
She does care about them, but she's just in a weird spot right now because Maverick betrayed her, and I texted Danica after Lorik died, and I said, you know, she forgave Maverick long ago. I don't think that it was truly out of her heart. She was clearly still very hung up on it. But when Maverick carried Lorik's body into the ocean and cleaned him, I do think that resolved any lingering distaste she had for him. But, like, until the very moment that the campaign went on hiatus, she's been angry with Maverick for that. She's angry with Cyrus by association, and just because Cyrus is so negative and whatever. I think she doesn't know what to do with Theo. And she's just kind of... she's just not focusing on Theo or Bart at all, because both of them challenged her on her, you know, New Year, New Me when she turned 3. And Theo doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know what to do with Theo, because Theo doesn't remember anything. And then Bart and Heidi both challenged her on her New Year, New Me. This is how I'm gonna change now that I'm 3 kind of thing. So I think she was just very frustrated with everyone and so in love with Lorik, but couldn't admit it to herself. So she was just tunnel vision on him, trying to figure out what the hell's going on with her life. But I think that's fifth place. And what Laika said in her letter, I think she meant it, of like, she loves Hugh a lot. And she wants him to have exactly what he wants. But she is ecstatic that they are not together anymore.
Right.
You know, she wouldn't mind being near you. Like, if I get to move back to Abbasalia after this, and we get to be twin king queen, or whatever, that's awesome. She's thrilled by that. Because she loves you, and she wants you to have exactly what you want. But, like, at the time that I wrote that letter, Laika also knew that you were not getting what you wanted by being near me, and I was not getting what I wanted by being near you.
Right.
Do you think that, like, so Hugh wants to be king, like, of Abbasalia, of the Grand Colony?
So Hugh has plans of his end goal that I will not disclose with you until it gets closer to those plans being resolved.
If Laika asked, do you want to be king, what would he say?
He would sit on it for quite some time. He would probably take a few days to like really think it over, but I think he would, if that was what's needed of me, I will surely do my best.
Yeah. Nice. Does Hugh want a family of his own? We've met a particular yellow frog played by Brooks Julius. Shout out Brooks Julius.
Right.
That when I watched that session, you all have met Liana in game, and you will see much more of her in this session upcoming. When I was watching, I was on the call, but cameras off, mic off, and I was going.
Which that was before Laika and Lorik's relationship blossomed, and you were like, if Hugh finds love just like that without even trying.
And then I realized, oh wait, Laika's in love with him. That also was not planned. Peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
We did not think that Lorik and Kiana / Laika, whatever, would be in love. I don't know that Lorik proper was ever in love with Laika, because I don't really understand the spirits thing. Brooks does, and he could never explain it to me in a way that makes sense, but Fear is the one that was in love with Laika. Yeah. I don't know if all of them are. I don't know if Lorik proper is in love with Kiana, Laika. We'll see. Well, no, we won't. No. But I don't know. We'll see in Brooks's player interview, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Brooks and go, listen to me. You have to tell me. This is my closure. But that none of that was planned. After Lorik's session 0, actually, Jesse and I were on a call. Or no, I was at his house. Right after we did Lorik's session 0, and then we did the joint session 0 with everyone. And right afterwards, I think Lorik had like complimented Kiana or something, and like said, I don't know, our robes were pretty or something, because he's being baby, like looking around the world with eyes wide open, everything's awesome kind of deal. And I remember Jesse turning to me and going, I really hope that Brooks isn't seeking out like a romantic connection with us, because that'd be really complicated.
Yeah.
But by now, Lorik is an adult.
Right.
And Kiana's an adult. And Laika's an adult, I mean. And it makes sense. And we're all chill and good. But, oh, that's funny. None of that was planned. I didn't know it was happening until after the conversation where Lorik is talking me off of my midlife crisis and saying, you know, if you're going to lead people, I want them to follow the Kiana that I love, and not the Kiana who forgets who she is. Yep. And I remember I was editing the TikTok where it's to top of my school. Maybe my friends will say I'm overzealous. And it was just supposed to be a Laika edit, and then halfway through I went, this makes it look like Lorik and Laika are in love with each other. And Megan said, hey, Joe, Did you not know that? Because everyone else knows that. So that was cool.
To answer your question, I do think Hugh does want a family, though.
I thought so. I thought so in my heart.
At first, no. He
Yeah,
had
no.
so much pent up subconscious resentment and anger towards his father that he said that this is no. But now that he sees a brighter path and he sees that I don't have to repeat this cycle,
yeah,
he does want a family.
Seems like we start our mornings in the same way. What was that? What was that in response to? You said something and then she said, "Well, it seems like we start our mornings in the same way." You said you were thinking about her or something.
I forget, but yeah, it was a good line.
Brooks, the man that you are. But yeah, I imagined that for Hugh. I don't know how the politics of it would work out if we both became king/queen of the Grunt Colony, but
does Laika want to be queen? Because I remember originally, or not originally, but like a while ago, you said that Laika wants to be a mother more.
Absolutely. If she had to choose, it's that. It's if there can only be one ruler of the Grunt Colony, Hugh can have it. But I do think she would rather be queen than let the colony die / be in the wrong hands. So, like, if it came down to, daddy continues to be a tyrant, or it's me, I'll do it. Yeah. If it's me or someone worse, I'll do it. Like, she doesn't want the colony to go downhill. But if Hugh she trusts Hugh. So if Hugh wants to be the leader, she'd probably be like, you know what? You have fun. Let me know if you need anything. Yeah. I'm gonna live in the other room of the palace and live my life. Which is interesting because I was always the more political minded when we were together.
Yeah.
So I don't know that she has like an innate desire to be queen, but she doesn't want the country to go bad, I guess, is the way to put it. So I think I would reorder my priorities and put Lorik, family, Hugh, envoy, queen. Even bump envoy up one. But
yeah.
I imagined that for Hugh. I imagined with someone, children, probably, eventually, and whatever political sort of thing he wants for himself. But, yeah. Did you have one more?
That's much on my talking points. We are, I say we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. It's a little bit over an hour. We've been ecstatic to play Kiana and Laika and Hugh and the story that we've made so far, and we can't wait to continue to develop this story, and hopefully when push comes to shove, when finally after 10 years reach the end of this campaign, we hope to have a good ending for these two. But the dice always tell a different story. So
Laika could also kill herself next session.
Yeah. But thank you all so much for watching. We are going to cut off right here. Please, if you haven't already, and this is for whatever reason, this is your first episode watching Whispers of the Dice Terrador
Don't be a strange thing.
Why did you watch this so far? Check out all of our other stuff. Subscribe, like, all that good things.
There's a quarterly recap and a trailer if you want to start watching halfway through.
Absolutely. We love you all.